This video will teach you all about the 6 Creative Commons licenses, what they look like, and how they are similar and different from each other. Remember, these licenses function within copyright law, granting users various permissions to use, adapt, and share works. Each Creative Commons license has a 3-layer design. The first base layer is a legal code. This was written by lawyers with the help of a global network of international copyright experts to make sure that the licenses fell within the scope of copyright law. The second layer is the Commons Deed, which summarizes the legal code in a way that is easy for people to read. Finally, there is a machine-readable version of the license on top. This allows search engines, applications, and other technology to easily understand the licenses. The Creative Commons licenses are made up of 4 different elements: attribution, non-commercial, share-alike, and NoDerivatives. Let's break each element down separately. Attribution means that reusers must attribute the original creator when they share the work. This symbol is included in all 6 of the licenses. Non-commercial means that the work is only available to be used for non-commercial purposes. Non-commercial means that the reuser is not sharing the work for the purposes of making a profit. Share-alike means that adaptations based on this work must be licensed under the same license. This reflects the idea of paying it forward, which assures the author that any future adaptations will also grant the same permissions to future reusers. NoDerivatives means that reusers cannot share derivatives, also known as adaptations, of the work. This does not mean that reusers cannot adapt the work at all. The reuser simply cannot share their adaptation with the public. Let's get to the licenses themselves. We already know that at a minimum, the 6 licenses require the creator to be attributed in connection with their work. Besides that, the licenses vary whether commercial use of the work is permitted, and whether the work can be adapted, and if so, on what terms. Let's start with the least restrictive license in terms of freedoms granted to reusers. The Attribution license allows people to use the work for any purpose as long as they give attribution to the creator. The Attribution-ShareAlike license allows people to use the work for any purpose as long as they give attribution to the creator and make any adaptations they share with others available under the same or a compatible license. The Attribution Non-Commercial license allows people to use the work for non-commercial purposes as long as they give attribution to the creator. The Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike license allows people to use the work for non-commercial purposes only, and as long as they give attribution to the creator and to make any adaptations they share with others available under the same or a compatible license. The Attribution NoDerivatives license allows people to use the unadapted work for any purpose as long as they give attribution to the creator. And finally, the Attribution Non-Commercial NoDerivatives license is the most restrictive one. This allows people to use the unadapted work for non-commercial purposes only, and only as long as they give attribution to the creator. Creative Commons updates its licenses through different versions. The latest version is 4.0, which was published in 2013. So if you want to license your work with a Creative Commons license, you will be using the 4.0 version and will attach a 4.0 to the end of your license as shown. Here is another example. You already know that Creative Commons licenses work within copyright law. So when a work doesn't fall under the scope of copyright law in the first place, then you do not need to attach a Creative Commons license to that work. For instance, You don't need a Creative Commons license to give someone permission to read your article or watch your video. Copyright does not regulate that. Another example is when fair use, fair dealing, or some other limitation or exception to copyright applies. Then, Creative Commons licenses also do not apply. Creative Commons licenses also do not apply to works in the public domain, since they are no longer under copyright. Creative Commons actually created a public domain tool that creators can attach to their works called CC0 or No Rights Reserved. This tool disclaims copyright entirely and allows reusers to freely build upon, enhance, and reuse the work for any purposes without restriction under copyright law. Although it is like the 6 Creative Commons licenses in that it also uses a 3-layer design, it is not a license but simply a copyright tool. To learn more about the Creative Commons licenses, visit the Creative Commons website using the link in the description below.